ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to The Discriminating Gamer, the board game review show that opposes arson. Seriously, kids, fire is a tool. Just don't do it. Ladies and gentlemen, have you ever wanted to visit Japan? Well, now you can in board game form with Yedo from IDW Games. In Yedo from IDW Games, 2 to 5 players become heads of various clans in feudal Japan, each competing for the favor of the emperor. You want to get the most prestige points in order to win the game. Now, in this worker placement game, you're essentially going to use your various meeples to try to find ways to score points and to do other fun things on the board. The first phase is the prep phase, and essentially there's a lot of housekeeping that goes on here. You skip this step during the first turn. Next, you have the bidding phase. Now, there are 7 different things you can bid on. In games of up to 3 players, you can kind of group them into, like, I think 2 or 3 different kind of sections you can bid for. But you're bidding for different actions, and the actions are things like you're trying to maybe bid for an annex, meaning a certain building that you can put on your player card, which will grant you certain abilities through the game. You can grant on cards, if you want to take action cards that may help you in certain ways, on weapons cards that you may need to complete certain missions, on the missions themselves, which can help you earn points, which is the most important way to earn points in the game. And, of course, there's also things like bonus cards that will kind of grant you certain bonuses depending on factors at the end of the game. Third, you have the event phase. Here you're going to kind of cycle through the market, put different weapons and stuff that are going to be available in the market, clear out the old ones. Then you're going to draw an event card. Now, event cards really affect the tenor of that particular turn. It may affect the Night Watch, more on that later. It may close off certain areas of the board, certain districts that you cannot go to and place your meeples. There can be all sorts of things, and this can be one of those events, those random events, that can kind of throw a monkey wrench into your plans. Fourth, you have the assign phase. That's where you assign your meeples, or disciples as they're called in this game, to the various locations on the map. And there are different districts, and each district has different powers and abilities. More on that later. Now, after you assign all of your meeples, your disciples, you have the Night's Watch phase. Now, the Night's Watch is kind of the policeman, and what they're going to do is move around the board in different directions. They may move on blue, they may move in one direction. An event may force them to flip over and move in the opposite direction. You can play certain action cards that may flip it around, turn it around, so you're never 100% sure where the Night Watchman is going to end up. But if you placed a disciple in a place where he ends up, your disciple is arrested, and you're going to have to buy him back later in the game. Then you have the trade phase, where 2 or more players in a certain district together can trade money, they can trade geishas, they can trade weapons. There's all sorts of things that they can trade between them and make arrangements between themselves. Now, number 7 is kind of where the game really comes alive. This is, of course, the action phase, and this is where all your meeples who are assigned, they go ahead and they take advantage of their districts. As I said, the districts have all sorts of different powers and abilities. For instance, you may be able to rearrange turn order, which was one of the things you could bid on earlier. There's a spot just to gain a prestige point. There's a spot to get more mission cards. There's a spot to where you can actually take money from the church in order to gain more mon. There's a market where you can buy goods and you can also sell some cards. There's the Buddhist temple where you can collect the Buddha tokens, which may be necessary for you, or there's kind of the geisha place where you can go ahead and get some geishas. All of the various districts have more than one spaces, and there's usually 2 or 3 different actions you can choose from. Some of them are really good, some of them are not so great, and it all depends on who placed first. Now, critically, too, here, during the action phase, this is the phase where you can also complete your missions. Now, you have different missions, and they're kind of color-coded depending on how difficult they're going to be and potentially what the rewards are going to be. So, you've got these mission cards, and during the action phase, the mission cards are going to tell you how you can collect on them. For instance, it's going to tell you you have to have a meeple in one or more locations most of the time. It's going to tell you you have to have a certain kinds of weapons to complete it. It's going to tell you you have maybe a geisha or a Buddhist token. It may have certain other kinds of requirements you need to fulfill to pass it. Now, in addition to just the base reward you may get, there may be a bonus reward you can get, which gives you more of a good thing. And the rewards are usually money or prestige points, though some other things can come into play here as well. Now, the game lasts a total of 11 rounds, and exactly 11 rounds. So every round, you're going to go through these steps, you're going to take advantage of where you've placed your disciples, and you are going to attempt to score more and more points. Now, at the end of the game, you're going to go ahead and do scoring. Now, obviously, you're moving up a track, but you may have certain other cards that come into play. A lot of those bonus cards that you may have been picking up may grant you special abilities. For instance, if you have like a lot of Geishas, you may get some bonus points for that. Or some other factor, you may get bonus points for that. Now, also critically too, at the beginning of the game, players had actually each chosen like a special bonus card that gave them some immediate benefit, and it had kind of a blackmail on the back of it. Blackmail cards, if you spend them, allow you to bribe the Night's Watch or blackmail the Night's Watch into not arresting your people. So it's kind of a get-out-of-jail-free card you can use once in the game. But if at the end of the game you still have your blackmail card, that gives you some more points. Now that is just a basic overview of this game. There are a lot more rules. There's a lot of stuff going on here that I didn't even scratch the surface of, because this is a relatively dense game in terms of kind of the rules and how they work here. And yet the game never feels too busy. It never feels too overly complex. Once you go through that first round, you get a pretty good handle on it. You kind of know how the game works, and it's not a terribly complicated game. And I got to tell you, some of the mechanics in this game are absolutely tremendously fun. The idea of bidding for the special actions that you're guaranteed to get if you get the bid, and then also how you can do those same actions later with your disciples, but maybe they're not quite as good. I like that a lot. I like the missions in this game. I think they're really, really, really cool. There's a real competition here in completing those missions and trying to complete them as fast as you can. And there's almost an aspect, if you're playing your own solo game, but there's enough interaction there that it really feels competitive. I really like that about Yedo. The game, too, can come down to the wire. First game we played, Jeff and I were neck and neck, and it came down to the end. We're looking at bonus cards. We're looking at, I still have my blackmail card left, and it was neck and neck. And finally, the only way we had to see who the winner was is the tiebreaker goes to the person who comes first in player order. Happened to be Jeff, so we won that game barely, and it was pretty intense. It was pretty cool. I also really enjoyed the action cards. The action cards really bring a lot of interesting kind of take that mechanics and fun and thematic little monkey wrenches you can throw into other people's plans and help yourself. So I really like the action cards in this game. And the event cards, too, are really, really fun, how it kind of sets the tone for each turn. They're great. Really like those things. And the bonus cards are great as well because they're going to help you in lots of fun and unexpected ways. Yedo is a great game. Or is it? Ha! Classic shut up and sit down mid-review turnaround. The fact of the matter is, Yedo does have some problems. Now, first of all, the game is 11 rounds. It's 11 rounds. That's a longish game. This game easily goes into the 2 to 3 hour range. I don't think I played a game that was under 2.5 hours. So it's a longer game. Be aware of that. So if that may turn you off, that may turn you off. And the problem with it is this. It's 11 rounds, and when you hit round 5 or 6, there kind of gets to be, even though you got a strategy you're still working on, there kind of gets to be that going through the motions problem. And one of the kind of intended problems with that is, as you're placing the disciples in the various districts, you take advantage of those really cool actions. But a lot of the smaller actions, the weaker actions, just really aren't that interesting. For instance, a lot of the spaces simply let you look at the tops of decks, of certain card decks, and then maybe rearrange the top 3 cards. And that's just not that fun. It's not that interesting. You want the really cool actions, not some of these actions. And it gets to the point where maybe you really don't have anywhere interesting or fun to go. Particularly if you've got all your disciples. There just gets a point where you can't go to places you really want to go, and you end up going to these smaller places, and you kind of don't want to shuffle cards. It just gets tedious. So you're like, okay, whatever, I don't care. And you kind of don't even do that because it just doesn't feel like it matters that much. So that was disappointing as well. Still, Yedo brings a lot of fun stuff. On the whole, I'd have to say, Yedo's strengths, I think, cancel out some of the problems, namely length and some of these uninteresting choices you're making. But, frankly, just barely. And I don't think Yedo is a game for everyone. I think a lot of people are going to get a kick out of it. I don't know that everyone will. So the recommendation for the discriminating gamer for Yedo is try it before you buy it. It's a good game. I just don't know that it's a great game. Thank you once again for joining us today on The Discriminating Gamer. As always, we ask you to please leave a comment for us on YouTube, on Board Game Geek, on our Facebook page, or on thediscriminatinggamer.com. We ask you to please like us on Facebook and subscribe to us on YouTube. We are The Discriminating Gamer. And if that night watch is coming for me, going to take me away to jail, I don't say ye do, I say ye don't.
Please somebody help me on my feet again. And I don't know where I'm going, and I don't know where I've been. Please somebody help me on the solid ground. It's a long time, and I'll be dying. Once a year I wind up in the band.
Did you know that I'm heavily involved in children's charities? I love those little goofballs, and it's very important that we get them out to a good start early in life.